They moved through the ancient ruins. It had been cruel to the adventurers. They had lost their barbarian right out of the gate. She had been taken down by those damn skeletons. They didn't have their cleric. She didn't want to think about what would have happened. Ahead of them, their thief crawled across the floor like a dog sniffing about. He'd done that ever since they set foot in here. At first, she was nervous about working with a thief. She became an adventurer to help people, but a thief? Seriously? The scum of the underworld? Well, their paladin spoke for him. That should be enough, but it didn't alleviate her concerns. Still, the paladin had been correct. As long as their thief was allowed to do his work, they were safe. He found and disarmed a dozen traps which would have been the end of them. Well, it looks like he was worth it. The ruins opened into a large cavern. Sitting in the center was a massive temple. Well, that's what the mage thought. She could sense incredible magic inside. A long bridge linked the temple to their location. Beneath it was only a dark well. Reaching out her hand, the mage conjured a ball of light. The thief recoiled from the sudden light. "What are you doing?" "Looking below," she explained. "You should have warned us." Grumbling, the thief returned to looking at the stonework bridge, his fingers going over every groove in it. "Yep," he warned. "I can't check the underside of this bridge." "Alright, we'll be careful," the paladin acknowledged. His concerns weren't warranted as they crossed the stonework. The tower loomed over them, and as they stepped to it, the thief anxiously examined each and every step there was. Gods, he was so slow, but no one wanted another mistake. Still, as soon as they stepped inside, the mage's mouth fell open in awe. It was magnificent. Truly glorious art and statues filled the room. Sitting in the back was the largest of all statues. Ignoring the decorations, the thief continued his work. With a nod, he gave his approval to the group, and they strolled forward. The mage's eyes looked at what filled the room. Decorations and furniture lined the walls. Set in the back, at the foot of the massive statue, was a chest. She moved forward, but she let the thief examine it first. While he was doing that, something else acted. With the sound of grinding stone, the statue moved. The thief sprang back as its massive foot slammed into the ground. The mage felt her bones shake from the impact. Pulling its arm back, the golem punched at the thief. Like a shining hero, the paladin sprang forward. His shield held aloft as the stone fist slammed into the metal wall. Their heavy warrior was sent flying backwards before slamming into the wall. Stone masonry and the paladin fell to the ground with a clatter. The cleric and mage looked at the motionless figure, but the golem wasn't still. The temple shook with every step. In the heart of the automaton glowed a brilliant gem. Mage could feel magic surging into it. Second by second, it glowed brighter, and adventurers were transfixed in horror. The only ally moving was the thief. He sprinted across the room in an instant, and scooped the two of them up in his arms and darted for the door. "Hold on, he's still back there," the mage protested as they flew down the stairs, but the thief didn't respond. Running was his only thought. Or was until the golem fired. A beam as bright as the sun streaked through the darkness. Horror filled the face of everyone as the bridge ahead of them turned to dust. What was left fell into the darkness below. All they could do was turn to face the stone construct as it approached, every step sounding like their final heartbeat. Wow, this doesn't look too good for these poor souls. Welcome back to Mythical Philology, Aspiring Adventurers. I'm your host, Jason D. Orgos. Let's sit for a bit and see what we can learn about the Golem construct. These golems have nothing in common with the natural golems we've covered before. First off, they aren't even alive. No, these are a marvel of engineering. Some are created by lost arts or from clever engineers of today, and yet others are made by magic. Regardless, there are some constants. Firstly, it has a body. It's either made of stone, metal, ice, or some other material. I've even crossed one that was made from magma. Boy, was that a fun fight. Thankfully, we had a whole ocean to throw at it. Cooled it off in an instant. With the exception of mud and lava golems, all others will have a skeletal structure. That you won't be able to hack due to the stone and metal armor shell. But there are joints, flexible points where there is little armor. Before I can talk about mud and lava golems, I need to talk about the other consistencies of the golem construct. Their heart. No, not some muscle beating their chest. It may not even be in the chest at all. They all have something that powers them, a spell or an engine that operates the golem. This could be both the heart and sometimes even the brain. A huge amount of power will be needed to operate this device, and will require a charging after a period. Now, for the mud and lava golems, they have a liquid-like body, no joints or skeletons. So what holds them together? Well, it's that power core I spoke of. It maintains the spell that holds the body together. We shall face the solid golem construct first. The bodies are heavily armored. Slashing attacks will do nothing unless it is leveled at the joints. But a better option is to smack the golem with something very big and dense and moving very fast. You can pick your favorite heavy blunt weapon here. I'm still partial to using my enemy to beat my enemy, though most golems are far too heavy to try that. No, they can weigh tons. What about the ceiling? Golems are often found in ancient ruins. Okay, let's start with the issues here. If you bring the roof down on the golem, it's also coming down on your head. I can tell you from first-hand experience, that hurts, and can easily squish you as easily as the golem could. It's a dangerous move, but could render the golem inoperable. If you're willing to go with this gamble, treat it like an earthquake. You get in a strong doorway or under a sturdy table. It's a huge bet, but it could pay off. If that isn't an option, what to do? Restrict its movements. Bind the legs and arms with powerful cords of steel and magic. Remove its footing. Have your mage turn the field to a swamp or icy ground. If possible, collapse the ground altogether. If you got an ace up your sleeve, it's time to whip it out. What about the liquid golems? Remember how we bested the magma golem using water? Liquid golems need to maintain the fluidity of those building materials. Both things like mud and lava are susceptible to large amounts of water that can cool and wash them away. If you got a trick to conjure a downpour or make the golem land in water, do it. With these golems you can't slash, slam, or crush them. All of it is pointless with these. These are much more like the slimes we faced earlier. Almost. Regardless of what kind of golem you're facing, they all share a single weakness, their power core. Spell or engine that powers the golem. This is your target above anything else. Whether you disable the golem or not, this is what you are after. Destroy it if it's a machine, or if it's a spell, you can try to dispel it. Be warned, these cores are volatile. They can explode. A last act of defiance against defeat. Wouldn't you attempt to bring down your foe with you if you could? You'll need to evacuate the blast area as soon as you become aware of what is happening. Get to cover. There are two parts to an explosion. The initial outward blast, and the air rushing back in afterwards. This is what will create the mushroom cloud with more powerful explosions. You'll need to protect yourself from both waves. An explosion could rupture your eardrums if left exposed. Cover your ears and eyes. Well, that's all well and good, but here's where the golems get difficult. They are built and any special abilities they have are up to the whims of their creator. Tell me, if you were to equip a golem with weapons and abilities, what would you pick? Energy blast? Swords and spears that shoot out from all over the body? Rig the whole thing up as a giant taser? Or make the golem out of many smaller golems that would transform and combine? Oh, I could have some serious fun here. And it is where my advice will be sketchy. I could write a library on all things you could attach to a golem. I am doing that here in fact. But we'll need a long time to discuss everything that could be attached. So for now, you'll need to stay tuned as we explore everything Expiring Adventures will need to know. For now, be careful and observant when facing the golem. Sadly, this is the game changer for the golem construct, and the reason I have to give it a 9 out of 10 for difficulty. It's just too much of a wildcard for an easy battle, and that's not counting its strength and durability. How big is your bag? Oh, that big? Sorry, it's too small. Yeah, a golem is a treasure trove. Do you even know how much lost knowledge sells to a research institute? Yeah, a lot. Each piece of those old machines can be studied for incredible knowledge. But which pieces are the best to take back? First of all, the magical core. I know. I said that you should destroy it, but it is the most valuable piece. Whole or broken, you can sell it for a fortune. The better the condition, the better the reward. After that, what do you grab? The joins come second. Flexible and complicated, they are sought after to understand how a construct moves. Finally, the armor plating can be melted down and used to make a shield and armor. Can you imagine wearing a set of plate armor forward from a golem? That is a statement piece and a good opener for a conversation. But what about the liquid-based golems? Mud and lava doesn't sell for too much. I mean, if you want mud, just take some dirt and mix it with water, and voila, you've got mud. As much as you want. And as for lava, it's hard to transport until it cools into rock. Yeah, volcanic rock has different properties than those you'll find sitting in the dirt, and you can collect them. Yay, great, you destroyed the golem and made some money. But what if you don't have to destroy it? What if you could command it? This is complicated and will vary from golem to golem. If you can gain command of it, congratulations. You've got a major source of power for your party. Need some muscle? Boom. A tireless workhorse? There you go. A mobile tower? Well, you've got that all in one now. So adventurers, which would you choose? Would you want to sell the golem for instant cash, or keep the golem and use it on your adventures? With the cash you could upgrade your gear, but if you keep the golem, it might save life. But so could better gear. It's quite the toss-up. The golem advanced on the 3 remaining adventurers. Power surged to its core. It would fire again in a moment. They needed to act. It was the thief who was ready. Pulling a small pouch from his pocket, he threw it out there where it exploded in a cloud of black smoke. The unprepared mage and cleric coughed on the thick air. Though it didn't affect the golem the same way, it still couldn't see them. By the time the smoke vanished, all 3 adventurers were gone. The stone figure searched but didn't see them, unbeknownst to the golem. Hanging from a rope below the crumbling ridge were the 3 adventurers. That was quick thinking, the mage sighed as she clung to the rope. Yeah, you've got to be ready for anything, the thief explained as he climbed back to the top. Looking around, he saw the golem ascending the stairs slowly. What do you do? The cleric asked with a nervous voice as she clutched her staff to her chest. The paladin's back there. He's probably dead, the thief explained. Looking around the destroyed bridge, the thief only thought of escaping. This was too dangerous. We can't leave him, the cleric protested loudly. Her voice echoed through the massive area up to the temple, right up to the golem. It stomped as it turned around once more and started down at the adventurers. The thief reacted instantly. Readying his length of rope, he dodged the golem's first punch and looped his rope around the legs as the golem tried to step again. It tripped and slammed into the fractured ground. Get the core, he ordered. The mage began to chant. Magic gathered at the tips of her fingers. It arced out and struck the golem on the chest. Electricity jumped from the stone giant. Run! Commanded the thief. But where? The mage looked around and found herself blocked. Only the ruins of the bridge. Grabbing the cleric, the mage worked a spell. They jumped from the cliff and fell towards the pitch black below. Her spell kicked in and they began to float. They hung in the air like a cloud before sliding under the bridge. A deafening explosion filled the air. Dust and stone cascaded down from above. Everything was quiet. The mage hesitated, but did nothing. It was fear that held her in apprehension. Only when her spell began to fade did she dare venture upwards. The temple was destroyed, and there was no sight of the thief. The last 2 of their party looked around with grim understanding of what had happened. That was a sad ending, but not uncommon for adventurers on a mission. But that is what you've signed up for. Thank you for watching. Please return next time, where we shall endeavor to understand a different foe. Rather than a mythical beast, we shall examine the arenas and coliseums which many adventurers fight. Edit number 4. That was a sad ending, but not uncommon for adventurers on a mission. But that is what you have signed up for. Thank you for watching. Please return next time, where we shall endeavor to understand a different foe. Rather than mythical beasts, we shall examine the arenas and coliseums which many adventurers fight for show.